The UNC Pembroke football team snapped a two-game skid with a 45-21 win over West Virginia State on Saturday. Patrick O'Brien threw for 318 yards and 4 touchdowns, with 3 of those touchdowns connecting with wide receiver B.J. Bunn, who had 8 catches for 198 yards. The Braves are now 4-0 at home this season. UNCP volleyball was on the road last week and fell to USC Aiken before picking up a win against Claflin to sweep the season series against the Panthers. On the pitch, regular season play came to an end last week with the men's team falling to USC Aiken. On the women's side, the Braves posted a shutout win over the Pacers, but then lost to number 8 Columbus State in the regular season finale. The women's team earned the number 5 seed in the Peach Belt Conference tournament, while the men's team just missed the cut. Basketball season is underway in Pembroke, with the men's team playing a pair of preseason games. The Braves defeated the All-Army team in double overtime and also faced Wake Forest. The women's team will play its first preseason game on November 13th at Campbell. Wrestling season is also underway, with 2 Braves placing in the Citadel Open to start the season. The Braves host the Pembroke Classic on Saturday and a pair of home matches on November 10th and 12th. The men's and women's cross-country teams also compete on Saturday at the NCAA Division II Southeast Regional Championships in Wingate. The Black and Gold Report starts now. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this week's edition of the Black and Gold Report, presented by Pepsi, a show all about UNC Pembroke athletics. I'm Jenna Davison, and today on the show we're going to be catching up with head football coach Shane Richardson, and later in the show we're going to be talking to head women's soccer coach Lars Anderson. But first, we're joined again by Coach Richardson. Welcome back to the show.
Thanks again for having me back.
Well, there's good news to report this week as the Braves improved to 4-0 at home this season with an impressive 45-21 win over West Virginia State on Saturday at Grace P. Johnson Stadium. You said in your post-game interview how proud you were for the team for bouncing back, but what sticks out to you the most about this win?
I think going through a 2-game skid that we did, and you start to become a little bit wondering, questioning, maybe a little bit of confidence is lost, and you just kind of start to think, oh, what's happening here, you know, as a full team. And I think a little bit of that mindset started to creep in a little, and to see our guys take on a vision, a message, and go through the preparation throughout all last week like they did, and be able to get the result that we did on Saturday is very fulfilling. As a coach, it's one of those things where, you know, what you're trying to teach and inspire and motivate kids to do, and you can see them actually put that into practice and to put it into play, and then it actually works and you get the result you want. There's no better feeling. So very proud of them.
Well, a lot of offensive numbers to talk about, but the one that sticks out a good bit for the Braves is that you guys got away with just 1 penalty for 5 yards. The only time UNCP got flagged in the game was for an offsides penalty midway through the 4th quarter. That speaks volumes about your team's focus in the game.
I think so, and each week we actually take the penalties, we put them up on the big screen in the team room, and we want to show all of our players what each penalty looks like throughout the game. And not only because we want those specific penalties to be learned from or to be addressed, but we want the younger players and everybody to see, hey, those are the things that are kind of setting us back here, and we want to all be aware and mindful of the positions we put ourselves in, the focus that you're talking about, and just being extremely disciplined as a team and doing what we're supposed to do.
Well, the Braves racked up a season-high 486 yards of offense against the Yellow Jackets and gained an average of 8.1 yards per play. You come out of this game with your highest point total of the season as well, so your offense has showed consistent improvement week after week this season.
I think the offense had a great day, and it was really fun to see them finally kind of break out this year. And them scoring 45 points and putting up that many numbers and the big plays that they had, I felt like they went out and they just played very free. They were very confident. I think they were able to just settle into a groove, and it goes back to some of the penalties and some of the drive killers that we had experienced in the previous weeks. We didn't have those, and I think we just kind of put it all together offensively, and it really felt good, and it was great to see our kids be able to do that and rally around that and to do that on Saturday.
Well, you came into the game a little bit beat up in the secondary, but Code Black finished with 5 sacks and a pair of interceptions and held West Virginia State to a 4 of 16 success rate on third down conversions. How much happier were you with your defensive effort in this game compared to the last couple of weeks?
I was. Although the first 11 plays, we gave up 13 points, and we were kind of thinking at that point, oh man, this could be a shootout, and we're going to have to outscore them, and what's going to happen here defensively? But we did make some adjustments. We made sure that we had the right people in the right spots, and our guys really responded well, and they didn't flinch, and they came out and they just kept playing. I think really, as a full team, the offense did what they were supposed to do. They didn't worry about what was happening on defense. Defense, they didn't worry about what the offense was doing, and they tried to just focus on their job. And it worked together, complemented each other very, very well. And I think that is a great compliment to our team, trusting each other, trusting the system, and then knowing how important their own job responsibilities are to each other.
Well, how much of a confidence booster was this win for your team?
I think it was a big confidence booster because when you go 4-1 and then all of a sudden back-to-back losses, and you're kind of searching, hey, does the things that we did earlier in the season, do those not really work anymore? Do we need to try something different? Do we need to kind of go off and do something that we haven't talked about? I think last week's theme was a little bit of we need to get back on track and refocus on some fundamentals of the program and some of the staples in our foundation. We need to make sure that we play full speed of the whistle. We need to make sure that it's how we play, not who we play, and it's playing your best this play. And so we saw that on Saturday, so I think it really lifted our confidence.
All right, we're going to take our first commercial break. When we come back, we're going to break down this game. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the Black and Gold Report. Coach, we have highlights as we usually do. Will you walk us through them?
Yeah, sure will. I think should be some good ones this week. So right here offensively, early in the game, it was great to see they were playing the run pretty aggressively, and John Rich was able to get behind the defense and go for one of the first early scores. Right here, Doc Corpening comes up with a big block that was after the second touchdown that they scored. And even though it just kept 1 point off the board, I think that's a real big morale shifter, and it really helped to create some momentum. Defensively, we're in a 3rd and long situation. Jonas Johnson, one of our true freshman defensive backs, he ran the ball back here for a nice interception return to set the offense up in great field position, and that again was another great momentum shift for us. Guys that are able to come up with big plays, you need great individual efforts to be able to have great team efforts, and so again, Pat O'Brien is able to find B.J. Bunn right there. B.J. was able to adjust to that ball. It was pretty good. They were actually kind of holding him, and he was able to break free from them and make the play. Albert Wright, one of our younger guys that hasn't played much football for us either, came up with an interception there. Good to see. Andrew Goodman gets in the game, and we have a special package for him sometimes to where he's a running threat, and so we gave him the ball down there, and he's able to score. Defensively, able to come up with a sack, which we had a few of those on the day. I was really pleased with the pressure we were able to put on the quarterback. That always helps. Matt Davis with, I believe, his only field goal of the day, and it came late in the game, and he was able to knock it in from really, over 40 yards there, and that was good to see because it's funny, on Friday, we end our practice, our walkthrough with a last-second field goal, and he missed 3 in a row on Friday, and so you want to leave Friday feeling good about what you're doing, and everybody's kind of like, oh man, we can't leave with him continually missing field goals, and then he comes back and he makes a field goal like that, and so it's good to see that.
Well, we kind of mentioned this earlier in the first segment, but the game showed all signs of a barn burner early with touchdowns on each of the first 3 possessions. But West Virginia State grabs a 13-7 lead midway through the first quarter on a 54-yard touchdown pass. What were you seeing from your defense on those first 2 drives, and what adjustments did you make?
I think younger guys on the field, they needed to just feel what the offense was trying to do and get out there and the bullets are flying, and it just takes them a little bit of time to settle in. And I think that's been a little bit of a theme of our defense this year, where it's taken us a drive or two to feel out what the offense is doing. I don't particularly like that, but I like the way that we did respond after the second touchdown was scored. I think we were able to get comfortable. We were able to just settle into what we knew what we needed to do and stay the course on what we had practiced, and we did that for the rest of the game. And up until the late touchdown in the fourth quarter, we were able to really stifle the offense and put them in some bad situations to where it gave us momentum in the upper hand.
Well, UNCP takes the lead for good on a 40-yard pass from Patrick O'Brien to B.J. Bunn late in the first period. O'Brien ended up throwing 318 yards and 4 touchdowns on 20 of 25 passing, while Bunn caught 8 passes for 198 yards and 3 touchdowns. Can you talk about the connection those two guys have with each other right now, and what it's meant to your offensive efforts over the last couple of games?
Well, I think it's very strong, and it's very comfortable for both of them. Pat is extremely confident in BJ. BJ is extremely confident in Pat, and I think when you do that, you're able to do some things in making adjustments on the fly when the ball is actually snapped. And we actually saw a couple of those plays on Saturday where they just kind of feel off from each other as far as where the openings are going to be and where the ball should be placed, and they do a good job with it. And obviously to be able to come up with back-to-back games for B.J. Bunn like that, and also Pat throwing the ball that way, I think he's getting more and more confident as the year goes on here, and obviously it helps us out on the scoreboard.
All right, we're going to take our next break, and when we come back, we're going to continue talking to Coach Richardson, so stay tuned. Welcome back to the Black and Gold Report. We're still breaking this most recent win down with Coach Richardson. Coach Andrew Goodman puts the Braves up 21-13 early in the second quarter on a 6-yard run up the middle, and then the Braves get an interception from Albert Wright on the ensuing possession to set up a touchdown run by Rontonio Stanley that gives you the 28-13 advantage heading into halftime. What was the mood like in your locker room, and did you have much to say to your team?
I think locker room at halftime, it got our spark back a little bit. The past 2 weeks, past 2 games in the locker room at halftime, it's been a little bit tough. And we were able to go in there and just tell them, hey, we need to put together our best half of football in the second half. This game's not over, and let's keep the pedal down, and let's continue to play aggressive and play fast. And let's put some more points on the board, and let's continue to stop them, and let's make sure that we end this thing the right way.
Well, the Braves pick up where they left off in the third quarter and score twice on a 43-yard and an 83-yard pass from O'Brien to Bunn to take the 42-13 lead into the final period. I'm sure you're seeing a complete confidence from the Braves at this point.
Yeah, confidence is a really big factor, and we have 5 what we call critical and tangible elements to success that's on the field, and confidence is one of those. Leadership, discipline, toughness, confidence, and our last one is class. But confidence is a big deal for us, and there's really 2 parts of confidence that we talk about. One part is being able to know what your responsibilities are, you know what your job is, you know what the plays are, you're able to go out and perform those like we coach them up. The other part of confidence is just kind of that internal ability to know that you're able and competent, and you're not playing with fear, and you're out there, you got a little moxie to you. And to play the sport of football, you have to have that. And I think we saw that a lot more on Saturday. That was much more pleasing to see.
Well, we've seen the emergence of a handful of new guys for UNCP in 2015, particularly guys like Jonas Johnson, Cliff Jones, and Kelvin Brim, as well as a few others on the offensive line. How excited are you about the direction that your program is headed in?
Couldn't be more excited. We are in a great place, and I don't like to really think about the future. I'm more of kind of an in-the-moment, here and now type of thinker, but we take a step back and we look at it and we say, wow, there's a lot of guys on our roster that are going to be back and that have multiple years left, and we're still growing and maturing and developing, and it's very, very hopeful, very exciting to see just the potential that we have for the future. Of course, we want to finish it out the right way right now with the guys that we have, and we've got some really deserving seniors that need to go out the right way, and with 2 weeks left, our focus needs to be on making sure that we finish this season in its entirety and making sure that we make sure the process is right and we understand the focus, the energy, and the sense of urgency that we still need to have. These last 2 games are not a gimme, and they're not a given at all. We need to work for them, and we need to make sure we finish it the right way.
We're, just segueing perfectly into my next question, but you go on the road to face Kentucky Wesleyan this week and then come home on November 14th to take on Limestone. Besides what you've already mentioned, what are you hoping to see from your team over these next 2 weeks?
Yeah, I think anytime that you start a season until you end the season, I think you want to see great growth in where you started to where you end. And we went through some rocky patches. We've been through some ups and some downs, and some really good things have gone on. Some not so good things have happened. We've been faced with a lot of challenges. I want to see not only to see us finish very well. That's definitely a factor that we want to make sure of, and that's a point of emphasis that we'll talk about. But I want to see maturity and growth take place. This is a game coming up to where we've got to go on the road. We're going to leave Thursday night. It's going to be a 2-night trip for us. We have not stayed in a hotel this year and won a game. So we've got to be able to do that. And we counted how many young guys that we've had on the trip that have never stayed in a hotel on our very first road trip, and it was about a third of the team. And we've got to be able to take those young guys and know, hey, this is what the routine's going to look like, and we still got to come out. We got to win a game, play a game, and be at our best for 4 quarters. And so I want to see some maturity, and to finish the season the right way with maturity and development is definitely something we'll be taking a look at.
All right, thank you, Coach, for being on the show with us.
Thanks a lot for having me.
And we're going to take our next break. When we come back, we're going to be talking to head women's soccer coach Lars Anderson, so stay tuned.